And we are back on the NECBL Broadcast Network. I'm Tim Joyce with the voice of the Newport Gulls, Stephen Huff. And it being the top of the seventh inning, we will turn it back over to Stephen. Stephen?
Thank you, Tim. And we are actually joined by a guest in the booth, former Newport Gull intern of 2 years ago, field reporter of the Gulls, and last year, the broadcaster of the Gulls, Dave Peck, excuse me. Local celebrity.
It's getting a little late. We're fine.
You understand. Local celebrity as well. Everyone is getting their rounds in with you. It's good to have you in the booth, man.
I tell you what, to be back here right now, to see it this packed, what is it, June 14th?
Right.
What is this, the third? How many home games have we had?
Third. We had one rained out, but this is the third.
Third home game of the season, Newport Little League night. Beautiful night for baseball. Friday, game one of the Pell Bridge Series. There was no other game I wanted to be at more than this one, and I mean, it's packed. There's a lot of energy, and we got a great ball game. What is it, 6-4 right now? Newport getting on the board early, so it's been great, and I'm happy to be back.
And it's kind of back and forth. There is a new pitcher on the mound for Newport. It is Jordan Marks of USC Upstate. This past spring for USC Upstate, he went 6-7 with a 4.44 ERA through 79 innings pitched. He gave up 59 runs, 39 of them earned, with 64 strikeouts to 19 walks. He does have one appearance already for Newport. Through 3 innings pitched, he gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, while striking out 3 and walking 1. That was on opening day against the Mystic Schooners. He will face off against the top of the lineup here in the 7th, Joe Simone, righty on lefty matchup. Simone 0 for 2 today with a walk. First pitch going to be grounded over past a diving Gustin. James Fields at short, throw the first in time for a quick out number 1.
Ah, that's a great play. Look at that.
Our new color commentator, Dave Peck. Break that one down for us a little bit.
I mean, no, it's good discipline. I'm not sure who the shortstop was, but
Austin
third base.
James. Here, we could share a book.
Okay, we got the book here, so.
James.
It was the third baseman who had the dive to his left. Good discipline by the shortstop. Staying focused. Didn't assume that he was going to get it. Able to field on the backhand and make the strong throw.
Now Elijah Dunham settles in for the Waves. First pitch fastball misses up for ball 1.
I tell you what, this place, so many memories here. And coming back, everyone, seeing Tom Lima, Shannon Carlson, Mike, Chuck, everyone in ownership, it's just been so much fun.
Now I heard a story about you as this 1-0 fastball, or curveball, excuse me. Misses in for ball 2.
Uh-oh.
No. All good stories. After a game one time, you threw a ball from home plate and hit the left field fence, and then you were seeing stars afterwards.
One time. It's multiple times.
Oh,
multiple times.
Multiple times, yeah.
Now this 2-0 pitch misses low, 3-0.
After the games, it actually started in 2017. Darren Zaslow and he was the broadcaster when I was 2 years ago. Yep, and last year. But we would do it after the games and hit. I got it. It was like 2 feet from clearing the fence out there in left field.
This 3-0 pitch misses outside for ball 4. So Elijah Dunham is aboard first with a 1-out walk.
And afterwards, stars everywhere. I mean, I was hobbling. I was hobbling around, and I was telling Zaslow, I was like, Darren, I need another ball. I need another shot at it. And a couple of Gulls were lingering around because I think we were using their gloves, just throwing around the diamond. And they're like, oh, man, like, they almost cleared it. So that was fun, and a lot of good memories. Also took some batting practice back in the day.
I was going to get to that as Dana settles in for the Waves. First pitch misses low for ball 1. Now, for those of you that are just tuning in for the Gulls this season, the Gulls were a little short-handed at the end of last year. They only had 9 players playing the field at the end of the season.
Oh, it was tough.
And so they were looking desperately for another player if needed, and they actually had you taking BP before the game as this 1-0 pitch is fouled off the glove of Ceruto, 1-1.
I remember we'd get all our interviews in. We got all our sound, everything that was neat. You know, we're doing our jobs. We have a job to do. And then roll up the khakis. We got the topsiders on. Maybe take off the dress shirt. We got an undershirt, and we just take some BP. I remember it was Xander Jones, assistant coach, hitting coach, and
did you lay down a few bunts first? Or
yeah,
no?
A few bunts,
okay,
a couple of hit and runs.
Yep.
Just trying to get our work in, and then we let it rip. And I remember some of the guys, Tim Tawa from Stanford, especially Stevie Mangrum, just giving me some tips. You're saying, if you want to clear it over the left field fence, just shorten up your stance so that you can really lean into it, and it worked.
So you're a righty, huh?
I am a righty, yep.
1-1 is going to be fouled out of play along the first base line, 1-2. So you're a righty, and you were pulling it down the left field line, and you said you cleared the fence.
I think I had three home runs. Actually, when we went to Danbury, I was short porch over there in Rogers Park. I don't know if
Right.
you guys have been there yet.
I've heard about
I don't
it.
know if that counts or not.
It might not count because it's probably 250 feet all the way around. But I was able to do it there. That was a lot of fun.
Now this 1-2 fastball misses up to Dana. 2-2.
Yeah, I heard you guys. I was talking with Tom and Shan before. You guys throw the ball around before the game, kind of warm up a little bit.
It's a little exercise we do to, free the mind a
Yeah.
little bit, creative exercise, talk about, broadcast segments that we're going to talk about on air, interview segments before.
Yep.
It's more of a business meeting.
It's a
anything.
business
That's
trip.
what it is. We're not messing around. It's a business meeting.
Nah, you're tossing the rock, but you're getting your work in.
You get it.
Exactly, yeah.
2-2 misses up and away. Count now full to Casey Dana.
That's a nice little tradition. I mean, afterwards, we used to do double plays as well. So there are a lot of things, and the players, they're more than willing to lend you a glove. Maybe you shack some fly balls in batting practice if you got a little time later on in the season. But
We were thinking about using that as a segment, shagging balls.
I was
With
thinking, there are a lot of good segments that could be done. You have the camera out in center field
Center
now.
field now,
Exactly.
yeah.
That is incredible. I'll tell you why. I mean, this is a high class
I'm very
operation.
lucky, yeah.
I mean, Tom and Shannon and the whole crew do a great job, but
They really set me up this year with that one. I won't lie.
Oh, it's awesome. Nick, I remember last year you were up there on the warehouse there down the right field line.
Now this 3-2 pitch runs upside for ball 4, so 2 straight walks for Marks on the mound, puts runners on first and second with 1 away for the Waves.
And we got some people up there right now. You actually were talking to him. I remember that.
We were actually just talking about that a few innings ago. We went up there. Well, I went up there because I was bored.
No, you were doing some investigative journalism work. I mean, that's doing your job.
But then he said he got bored.
No. I said I was bored.
Oh.
That's why I went up
Oh,
there.
you went up there. I
No.
misunderstood.
Yeah,
Okay.
you did. But yeah, they're nice people up there. It's like a whole group of people. Like, I'm not sure if they're family, friends. I couldn't really tell. Yeah.
They look comfortable. I mean, one guy's dangling his legs.
I
We always
know.
talk about it, but God, it's got to be one of the best places around to watch a game besides right here in these seats.
There's a meeting on the mound with the pitching coach, Greg Zackerson, meeting with the Canadian pitcher, Jordan Marks.
Do you remember what they said at all?
A little bit. I kind of asked them, because remember you guys were feeding me questions via text.
Right.
We
Right.
didn't have a mic or anything, so you guys were asking me, give me a question, ask them. I think I was asking them how they got the house, how long they've been up there, what's the crazy thing that's happened to them. And I think they said a couple kids went up the roof. They didn't know these kids. They went up the roof, and they were just collecting balls up there. And they have buckets of baseballs up there.
Wow.
They were showing me them. Yeah.
That is not a bad idea. I mean, we're only in
Yeah.
the top of the 7th right now?
Right.
Might be able
Exactly.
after this, might be able to go over there. You know what? I also saw the former pub Mudvale down the right field line
Yeah.
closed.
It's
I
I think it's a
didn't even
cafe
realize
now.
that. I was walking by today into the bank, and
Yeah.
it's not Mudville anymore.
There's no one in the nest over there.
Runners
or
take
whatever.
off, and the bat is flown towards the first base. Ball goes into right. Zaid tries to field it. It's underneath his glove. One run will score for Ocean State. That is Dunham scoring for the Waves. As runners are now on first and second on that one-out single from Hodges. Sorry to cut you off, fellas.
No.
I went in the 2-1 game, actually. Again, when I was bored.
You've done it. No, there's been a lot of funny things that have gone. I remember one time Coombs got ejected, and he was actually staying in that barn house, whatever it was.
Rumor has it he actually rented that house out for the summer. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
true or
He
not.
rented it or got some sort of generous subsidization to stay there.
Now this first pitch to Elson at the plate. He watches it in there at the knees for strike 1.
But he got tossed, and then immediately, he went home and just sat out on the porch right there behind the left field fence, probably had a beer,
Of course.
and was probably chirping Dylan Plew, the former left fielder. Just probably coaching him from there.
I remember last.
Righty on righty matchup, and it's going to be popped up over to the first base side. Tours in foul territory giving chase, and he's there for out number 2.
I remember last year used to do the lineup from his home too, and you used to have to go and find them sometimes.
Oh, it was a nightmare. You got to get your interviews, you got to get your sound. And I'm looking for Coombs. Where is he? And for anyone listening who are not familiar, Mike Coombs, the manager emeritus here in Newport. 12 seasons where he won 5 Fay Vincent Cups. I mean, an absolute legend. The interviews are off the chains. One of the most lively people I've ever met, and a great baseball mind as well.
This first pitch to Vargas.
Tom was showing us the.
I think he was in there for strike 1. I wasn't looking, to be fair.
think
Tom
it
was,
was.
Tom was
I don't
showing
know.
us the video they
It was a
have
ball,
of his
excuse me.
pregame antics last year.
Oh, the Kenny Powers.
The Kenny
oh,
Powers
man.
thing.
Oh, man. He
Oh, my
came
God.
in.
Now this one is going to be chopped towards James at short, giving charge. Throw to first, not in time, so bases are loaded with 2 away. Waves only down a run here in the top of the 7th.
I remember he came in, I don't know what, maybe on a gator or something, dressed as Kenny Powers.
It
and
was the penny cap.
You're right. And he had a bunch of Tech-8 beer. I remember he had a bunch of warm Tech-8, and he was just throwing it at the players pregame. I mean, it was absurd.
There is
And they were like, what is going on right now? I have no idea what's happening.
There is a second meeting on the mound. Kevin Winterroad, the head coach of the Gulls, is out to visit with Marks, and I believe that is the second meeting on the mound this inning, which means we will have a pitching change as we look to see who the new pitcher is for the Gulls.
Now,
Yeah,
I remember walking over and hearing Coombs' voice over the loudspeaker and being like, what is going on right now?
You just never knew where he was going to end up.
He seemed like quite the character.
Oh, I mean, those interviews, you would have 2 to 4 questions prepared, knowing that you weren't going to use any of them, to be honest, because you would say, hi, Dave Peck here at the manager's show with Mike Coombs, and he would do something wild, and you'd have to kind of go with it. But that, it was fun, and it was definitely entertaining, too. So.
The new pitcher on the mound is Cameron Fair of Missouri. This spring for Missouri had a 16.2 ERA. Now that's a little bloated. He only pitched 1 2/3 inning. And in that time, he gave up 3 earned runs, 3 hits, but he did have 3 strikeouts in that time. And he already did have an appearance for Newport this summer. Went 3 innings pitched, only gave up a hit, no runs, did walk 2 while striking out 4. So a much better start to the spring than he did, or to the summer for Newport than he did have this spring for Missouri.
So Gulls are what, 2 and 3 going into this game?
2 and 3
2 and
so
3.
far. The bats are a little bit slower to get going, but they're starting to
Naturally.
liven up this game.
Yeah, honestly, it looked good. I don't know who it was, but somebody had a home run. I think they had an RBI double. Was it the same person?
Yeah, it was Austin James.
He
He's had
looks good from Mizzou.
Yeah, from Mizzou. He
Yeah.
had an interesting spring, not really getting it going. Had a great JUCO career, but then here today, 3 for 3, RBI double, 2-run home run, and a single. So triple away from the cycle.
Triple away, and this ballpark, it's very possible out there in right center.
Oh, yeah, if you put a ball out there, you don't know how long you're going to be running
I
for.
mean, especially with away outfield. There are light posts. I'm sure you've talked about. There are light posts inside the fence. There are grates. That's the craziest thing. Not even the light posts, but
there's grates out
the
there?
grate. There are drainage grates
Really?
all over the field. I mean, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Covered up by cardboard.
Yeah. I mean,
Really?
we've talked about the trees. I mean, this place
you paint
has
yeah, no, it's.
quite a bit of character.
I would say it's the most difficult outfield I've ever seen for, especially a center field place. Not to mention right field with that warehouse. Somebody get killed.
Well, Hodges has played right field here, but Simone hasn't.
You're right. He does have a little experience.
This first pitch from Fair, swung at and missed from Vargas for strike 1.
I think it's always the case that bats are a little bit slower to get going here in summer ball. Adjusting the wood. Maybe you take a couple of weeks off depending on how far your team got, if they got into the postseason.
Now this 0-1 fastball in there for strike 2. Yeah, that's kind of what Coach Winterroad said. The bats are always slower to get going than the pitching is, so it's only a matter of time.
The Newport's got a few more bodies coming in. I mean, Vandy's still in it. I'm not sure who else.
They got one more guy coming
One
from
more
Vandy.
guy?
They had a couple guys already from Vandy show up. Is this
Okay.
0-2 pitch going to be chopped foul along the third base line?
Really, that's interesting that they didn't keep everyone on the roster there for the World Series.
One of them was redshirted, so he came early. One of them got a little bit of playing time, but has a lot of skill to him. So they said, go get your reps at Newport.
Okay.
And then Isaiah Thomas is still with Vandy for the College World Series.
You know what position he plays?
He's an outfielder. right?
Outfielder,
Okay.
yep.
A lot of good teams there.
Now the 0-2 from Ferrer in the dirt. Nice block from Ceruto, so 1 and 2.
I was watching it, in the past couple of weeks, and I remember there was one time I was watching UCLA, Louisville, Michigan, and maybe Stanford. They were all playing at the same time, and UCLA pitcher was an ex-Gull, Kyle Moore. The Louisville pitcher was an ex-Gull, and Mike Kirian. The shortstop for Michigan, Jack Blumgren, was a Gull as well. And then Stanford, they got a pile of people.
Right.
So it was wild to see.
this one. 2 misses, up 2-2. And then there's actually another Louisville pitcher that just got here, Garrett Schmeltz. So you probably saw him. At least he was on the roster.
Yeah. Zach Britton, a Gull, Tim Tawa,
Right.
Andrew Dashbach, and how about Cody Hosey, J.J. Blade?
Now this one's going to be popped behind the plate and foul.
Yeah, I had no idea J.J. Blade was a Gull.
Anytime.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea until I was reading and that he got drafted and you guys posted
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I didn't know that until the draft, a couple weeks before the draft, when we were doing the preparation and stuff for the draft. And J.J. Blade's name came up, and I was like, okay, who's this guy? And I looked him up. I'm like, oh my God.
This 2-2 pitch caught him swinging for strike 3, so that'll end the inning here in the 7th, but not before Ocean State puts one on the board. Score is 6-5 heading in to the 7th inning stretch, but I say we stick here with it, fellas. I think we got some stories to tell.
I would love it. I would love it.
So, of course, you were here with Cody Hosey.
Yep.
Tawa.
Yep.
And he won National Athlete of the Year. I mean, Tim Tebow won that award. Some other. Did Mariota win that award? I can't remember.
I mean,
there
I
was
think
some
the
Jameis
Oregon
Winston
guy.
won it too.
What's that?
I think Jameis Winston won it once
Jameis
too.
Winston. I mean, this isn't just giving any slouch out there.
No, and triathlete, baseball, football, basketball, a great player all around. He was a quarterback, and I remember asking him last year, what made you pick between football and baseball? And he said something along the lines of, I wanted to go to Stanford, and playing baseball gave me the best opportunity to do that because I think he got an offer maybe a sophomore or junior year. It was pretty early on to play baseball there. And being from Oregon, West Coast guy, obviously one of the best schools in the country, it was pretty much an easy decision. And I asked him if he misses football. He said, yeah, of course. Like, I was quarterback. I loved it, but fly around the outfield. He actually played shortstop now for Stanford. Definitely suffices. And also, baseball may perhaps a little safer longevity of the sport.
And you got to honor, you respect that, and wanting to go to Stanford, one of the top schools in the nation.
Yeah.
Being one of the top athletes, too. I mean, they're going to find a place for him to play at that point.
Yeah. No, and actually one of the kids, I believe his name is Will Mathiasen. Believe that's his name. He was one of the standout players for Stanford this year. Went to high school with Tim Tawa. They played basketball together. Will was actually mostly a basketball player. Tawa is probably his third sport. But they played on the same high school team in Oregon. Now they're together at Stanford. Two of the top players on that team, along with Andrew Dashbach, who was a Gull from 2017. Yeah. So he got drafted too. It's banana land out there.
Right.
I mean, so many Gulls. It's awesome to see. And for us, like interns working here, getting to know them, talking to them when they're going through, trying to climb the ranks and getting to know their personalities is just so much fun.
Well, I got to ask, now that you're not with Newport, as we get back here in the bottom of the 7th, new pitcher on the mound. We'll get to that question in a minute. New pitcher on the mound for Ocean State, and it's Billy Krieger.
Krieger. Yeah, so from Stanford University, another Franklin, Tennessee native.
First pitch from Haskins to Haskins, going to be grounded out over to the second base side in time for out number 1.
As I was saying earlier, high school teammates with the previous Waves pitcher, Kyle Brennan. Krieger as well has also appeared in 3 games on this young season. Thrown 3 1/3 innings, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. Only giving up 3 hits though.
So not too bad from the new pitcher on the mound for Ocean State. Going back to you, do you miss the bus rides?
Oh. Well, you guys got a new bus ride, a little little cross ocean type deal going over to Martha's Vineyard. That'll be fun.
That is an awesome place.
Have you done it?
We were there Sunday. It's a beautiful ballpark.
That's awesome.
Now this first pitch to Colton Bender, misses low for ball 1. Yeah, I've been told it's quite a trek to the ferry, and then the ferry is a 45-minute, hour long.
Yep.
Yeah,
You've done it, so you can tell me.
I went over early in the morning. I took the 9:30 ferry overnight. I left Charlestown at 6.
Okay.
This 1-0
that's
pitch is
smart.
Yeah, it was.
Every day out of it, yeah.
Yeah, we did the day in Vineyard. Girlfriend and I got a moped, drove
That's
around the whole
nice.
island. Yeah,
Wow.
it was worth it.
That's a nice day. And then a little baseball after.
It's worth it to rent the moped rather than bring the car. It's like
That's the way to do it.
Lefty on righty matchup, the 1-1. Off speed, Bender watches it in the zone for strike 2.
Yeah, the bus rides we had with personalities, Coombs.
Coombs leads the way.
Oh, my God, it was ridiculous. But I tell you what, Greg Grawl, who had experience, he actually won a ring with the Red Sox as one of their bullpen coaches in 2013. He had so many stories
I can imagine.
from going through the minors and talking, boys with John Lackey and doing this and that with other big names, and then Winter Road, of course. It was just so much fun. And I don't know if they still do this. It's early on in the season. They play Mafia, all the players in the back of the bus. That's a classic thing.
Not yet, as this 1-2 pitch was flown out of play. The next 1-2 pitch misses low for ball 2.
Start of the season takes a little bit of time.
They're still getting to know each other
Takes
at
a
this
little
point.
time. Yeah.
But you can start to feel them build that chemistry and warm up to each other.
Yeah. And it's awesome when you start to see it.
Now this 2-2 pitch swung at and missed a little half-heartedly from Bender. So 2 strikeouts on the day. I talked about coming into this broadcast. Oh, he's the only goal not to strike out, and a little bit of a broadcaster jinx.
Yeah.
Nice. 2 strikeouts in a row for the catcher from Quinnipiac.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, the bus rides, you have to try and get a neck pillow.
That's actually great advice.
Try and
smart. I
not
haven't
sit
taken the
next to
bus yet.
someone who puts their seat back.
Yeah.
And vary your songs. Use Spotify. Use the Discover function of Spotify so you're not playing the same songs over and over and over again, because that's what I did, and I definitely wore them out.
First pitch to Tours was in there for strike 1 on the 0-1. Misses inside for ball 1.
I would say the worst, I mean, it's not the longest ride, but the one to Danbury.
Oh.
Always traffic on I-84.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of traffic.
It's, oh, yeah.
1-1 breaking ball, misses up, backs Tours off the plate, 2-1.
And you go there 3 times, so it's not a novelty. After the first time, you're like, okay. And
We
then
get
you
it.
got to do it twice, and it just, they do a great job, great franchise, but
2-1 half swing from Tours. He went around, strike 2.
man, yeah. A lot of good memories, though. A lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like it. I mean, you wouldn't have come back for a second summer
No.
if you didn't enjoy it
Nope.
that much. It's now the 2-2 from Krieger on the mound. Fastball just missing outside, so count now full to the first baseman from Villanova.
Yeah, I mean, any other place in the NECB, I mean, a lot of good places, but there's nothing like Newport, if I'm going to just speak frankly. Biased
I
aside, there's nothing like Newport.
Payoff pitch to Tours, misses inside for ball 4, so 2-out walk will bring up Austin James.
Yeah, it's hard to leave here at the end of the summer, really.
It is.
course.
Oh, it's sad.
Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. You're back for your second
Yep.
summer as well.
Worked with
So
Dave last year.
You didn't want to leave.
No, I did not.
Oh, it's tough.
So James settling in at the dish for the Gulls. Singled in his first plate appearance in the second, 2-run home run in the third, and then an RBI double in the fifth. Lefty on righty matchup. Standing tall in the box. Elbow cock tie. First pitch to James. Watches over the plate for strike 1.
I think the thing is very rarely in broadcaster's career, media member, to have this kind of access to players, to be able to talk to them as freely and openly as you want when you're not in interviews. And honestly, when you are doing interviews, it can be fun, you can be loose, because they're our age. They're climbing
exactly.
the ranks together. So it's so much fun, and that's one of the most special things about this. And it only gets better as the season goes on, as they get more comfortable. We get more comfortable as interns, and they start throwing stuff from the dugouts. And you're trying to do an interview, and they're pouring water, and they're just standing. I don't know if, Nick, you remember any of that.
I remember a lot of that last year.
Against you. As 2 straight pitches from Krieger misses the zone. 2-1 now. During a pregame taped interview, or at least stand-up for you, someone gave you a wet willy while someone
Remember that
else was patting you down like they were airport security.
Yep, that was Tim Tawa and Stevie Mangrum.
This is 2-1 to James, misses low. 3-1 now.
Mangrum, actually, he transferred from Virginia Tech to University of Tampa. He won a national championship this year, Division II. He
Yeah,
did.
I remember watching Virginia Tech playing Brian. I didn't see his name on the roster
Yeah,
anymore.
no, he transferred. We found out about that about in the middle of last summer.
3-1
Okay.
pitch, big swing and a miss from James. Count now full.
But it's one of those things, you hear so much when you're off the record. You got to make sure, what do you want to say? Am I allowed to say this? Especially because you don't know who's listening, scouts, whatnot. So, but we found out probably mid to late July that he was going to Tampa, and it worked out.
Now the full count to James, misses inside for ball 4. So 2 straight walks for Krieger on the mound. Puts 2 goals aboard on first and second. That will bring up Zaid Walker.
I mean, that's been the issues for the Wave so far this year. It's been 2-out walks. I mean, it didn't come back to bite us in Martha's Vineyard. It come back to bite us against Martha's Vineyard, actually, at home, though. But It's just been the inability to put innings away for the Waves.
Yeah, and 2 out walks, and then even in the first game when these two teams matched up, you saw Ocean State give up 9 walks.
Really?
And so that was kind of the reason that game became 12-7. Newport started that game off hitting well, but then as it became out of hand, it was because of walks. As we see a pinch hitter for Newport, it'll be Joey Bellini of Cincinnati pinch hitting for Zaid Walker.
Dave, I have a
Bellini
question.
actually made his debut in that Ocean State game. Nick, I'll let you go ahead, though. First pitch to Bellini in there for strike one.
Dave, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you still talk to the guys from last year? Any of the players?
I do.
You do? Who?
I do, actually. Logan Harvey,
That's what I thought.
Tim Tawa, Cody a little bit as well. I would say those three. Stevie. Yeah,
One pitch swung at and missed.
we have a little group chat. I would say
Yeah.
I would say Logan and Logan Tawa and Hosey the most, just because. Actually, you know what? Cole Austin too. He left
Oh,
early.
really? Yeah. I remember
He's in the
Cole.
mix as well. So yeah, it's good to keep in touch with those guys because it's fun to watch what they do, and you get so close to them. Just
Now-
awesome.
0-2 breaking ball. Bellini chops it foul, so count remains.
I was watching an interview. Bellini and Ocean State. He had a game when you guys were there, right? I was watching some interview.
That was his Newport debut.
That was his debut, right?
Doubled in his first at bat, homered in a later at bat, went 2 for 5 with 3 runs scored. So
Yeah.
that's a good way to say hello to his Gulls debut.
Yeah,
love
that
that
was
about
awesome.
there.
You had the video to get a video interview away. That's good stuff. Always raising the bar.
Yep. I see what you did there with the.
With, did I did. I was talking to Chuck. Chuck was running the snack stand. Chuck
Was
gave
he
up
really?
president- He was running the snack stand.
No way.
Wow.
And you know what? When you come here as an intern, probably had the same conversation with all you guys.
Yep.
You are expected, yes, broadcaster, yes, member of the media. But you, if there's a bathroom that needs cleaning, if there are bleachers that are dusty, and you see it and you have a little bit of time, doesn't matter what your title is. You do the job and try and make, the ballpark or the team or the organization better. And to see him in there working away, making hot dogs, selling.
Goes to show, yeah.
I mean, he's out
That's-
there. He's with his soldiers.
That's our general manager, 19 years in, and he's still working the concession stand when needed.
Oh, when I heard that, the face lit up. It was
Now this
awesome.
1-2 pitch to Bellini, misses low. Count now even at 2. And, I mean, Chuck is one of the greatest guys out there.
Yeah, he is. And I remember my first conversation with him when he was talking to all of us.
Now this 2-2 pop behind the plate. Count remains.
I remember he was intimidating the first time I
Right.
met him. I mean, let's say it for how it is, and it was just yes sir, no sir. I don't want to mess up at all. And he makes it very clear very early on that if you work hard and you do your job, then you'll get on his good side, and that's
And
a
then
good
it
thing.
turns out he's the nicest guy
yeah,
he's
and
ever
then,
met.
and then it turned
Exactly.
out he's the nicest guy ever. Right.
I remember Stephen after the meeting.
This 2-2 to Bellini. Catches him looking for strike 3, so no runs crossed for the Gulls in the 7th as they leave 2 stranded heading into the 8th. It's 6-5. Gulls lead the Waves here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. But
Well, I remember Stephen after the meeting, the first meeting we had with Chuck, he was a little nervous because
I
Chuck
was.
seemed very intimidating.
Yeah.
I told him, like, he's
Yeah.
the nicest guy ever. Just
yeah,
gotta work.
No, he is the nicest guy ever, but you do have to work, and that's how it should be, and that's why I think
Exactly.
Newport's gotten to the point where it has in all regards, especially, Chuck, Mike, Tom, Shannon, everyone on top of the organization demanding a lot in a fair way, and that's what really brings out the best.
And just like you said, that's how it should be. And once you get here and everyone's working, everyone has fun doing it. It doesn't feel like
No.
work.
No,
No,
not at all. I mean, just seeing the fact that we got the camera out there in center field to make it look like a real MLB broadcast coming in.
Right.
I mean, it is. It basically is.
Yeah,
There's no difference.
This is awesome. I mean, like this is the first time I've been here. This is just it's beautiful.
Yeah.
To be able to call a game here.
And it's a ton of fun in the process of doing it, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like a day at the ballpark with your friends.
Just need one winning season. I mean,
We
the
do.
last two has been tough.
do.
You're the
Last
bad
year-
luck, Chuck.
I
Listen
know.
to this. We get you into the booth. The
I
Newport
know.
Gulls were destroying
Oh,
Ocean
God,
State.
I know.
You come around, and all of a sudden the comeback
I
happens.
know. I mean, it's these rest back chairs. I just get a little comfortable. I don't know. It's just like something about it.
Oh,
But no, I
man.
mean, the last time I was at Cardines was last year. I think it was August 1st. And it was the winter go home game, number
Yeah.
44, last game of the season against Mystic.
the game you almost played in.
Game I almost played in. Thought we had it. I remember Mike Majeski was right here. I thought we had it. We had the lead, and the second baseman made an error. We were able to make some plays. You know, as a broadcaster, you're getting all amped up. You're like, this could be a walk-off opportunity. I see it coming, and then forget who hit the home run, but it opened it wide open. It was probably 3 or 4 runs at that point. I don't remember the exact score, but yeah, it was disappointing, but definitely a lot of fun for it to come down to the last game.
Well, I'll let you off the hook. We held you here for a full inning. I know, like I said, you're a local celebrity here, so you got a lot of rounds to make through to meet everyone else. Say hello. So thank you for joining us here in the booth.
Yeah.
Dave Peck, everybody, former Newport Gold field reporter, but also broadcaster here.
No, thank you guys very much. Enjoy the summer. It's going to be one of the best, if not the best, that you'll have. So enjoy.
It was our pleasure having you here.
Keep
in the
doing a
booth.
great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This first pitch misses low for ball 4. Ball 1, excuse me, to Sears. 1-0. Second pitch from Ferrer in there for strike 1. So 1-1 count to Sears at the dish. It was good to have Dave in the booth.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Now this 1-1 to Sears, popped behind the screen.
Just like old times.
1-2. And you know what? That was my first time meeting Dave, but it felt like I knew him my whole life. And that
Oh.
just goes to show how good of a guy he is.
The nicest guy in the world. I remember up in the booth last year, in the beginning of the year, we think our first or second home game.
Now this 1-2 is going to be lined back up the middle. James behind the back fields, but can't glove it cleanly, and he's going to boot it towards first base. I think that was a tough play to make. He might have beat it out anyways. But I think single error, I think we're going to rule that an error. Or did you say a single? Excuse me? Oh, error. So E6 on James, we'll give that.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a tough play. It's routine, though, at this point when you're at this level.
You're probably right, yeah.
It's a tough play, but
And with his arm, he could have
Yeah.
thrown him out.
it's a tough play, but a play that has to be made. And he's going to tell you, I got to make that play.
At the end of the day, at the end of the game, he would say that he has to make that play. As this first pitch to McGillis misses low for ball 1. Excuse me. Justin Walker misses low for ball 1. So McGillis is aboard first. Walker at the plate. Shows bunt. Pulls it back, but it's in there for strike 1.
Yeah, the Waves playing for 1 run right now.
And you can't blame him. I mean, what a comeback they've had. And
No, yeah, they've just been chipping away.
it's now show bunt again, but he pulls it back. Runner takes off for second, but he's in there safely. So now runner in scoring position for the Waves.
I'd still leave the bunt on 2-1 here. You get the top of the order up. You'd have a runner on third with just 1 out. You'd want to bunt it right at the third baseman, Gustin, if you're Justin Walker.
So bunt still may be on. Righty on lefty matchup, and now Ceruto's going to trot on out to the mound. Make sure everything's okay with Ferrer, the pitcher for the Gulls.
I would imagine they're just reviewing what they're going to do if the ball is hit to them.
Yeah, I imagine so. And defense didn't come in, so I imagine they're all on the same page, although we did see Walker go over to the third base coach for the Waves. Make sure the hitting plan is A-okay. Righty on lefty matchup. Fair looking over at second at McGillis. Now delivers. Bunt is not on as this pitch misses low and away.
It's interesting there. I personally, if I were third base coach Eric Hirschbahn-Bonner, I'd keep the bunt on. I mean, you get a player in Walker who didn't have the greatest year at Indiana. Move the runner over for the top of the order.
And the sac fly at that point would be on, but free swinging is Walker, and he misses for strike 2.
But then again, if you, Fair has not had great command of the zone so far. So if you do walk him, you got first and second with no outs rather than a runner on third. It's the little idiosyncrasies in math that you try to figure out.
Fair steps off the mound and watches McGillis back to the second base bag. So it's a full count to Walker at the dish with runner in scoring position. Goes up 6-5 here in the 8th. Swing and a miss from Walker, though. That will be the first out of the inning. Second strikeout of the day for Fair on the mound. Now we'll bring up the top of the lineup. And Simone grounds it back up the middle. And a nice play from James, twisting and turning, and on the spin he throws the first in time for out number 1.
Second time in a row.
Number 2, excuse me.
Second time in a row, Simone's grounded out to the shortstop, James. This one a little bit of a fancier play.
Now on the bright side for the Waves, that does move the runner over to third, so 90 feet from scoring. Now you're probably going to send him anyways with 2 outs, unless it was a soft base hit, but now any hit will score him no matter what. So Elijah Dunham settles in for Ocean State. Righty on lefty matchup. First pitch from Fair, misses low and inside for ball 1.
Walked twice on the evening, has Dunham grounded out to second into the pitcher.
Fair looking on. On the 1-0. Misses low for ball 2. Dunham 0 for 2, but like you said, has worked 2 walks in his last 2 plate appearances and did come around to score in the 7th. Now on the 2-0. Fastball misses out. 3-0.
Would you give him the green light here?
You know, this is exactly what I was going to point to. With pitcher struggling with his command, I don't think I would, but I expected Winterode to point for the intentional walk here. He's done that in the past, and so I'm not surprised to see him do it. And now he forces an out at second base. And with Casey Dana at the dish, I assume Fair is going to work lower in the zone, trying to force a ground ball.
I wouldn't have walked him there with Casey Dana up, but
it is a dangerous hitter. But you looked at the averages. Elijah Dunham hit 310 this spring versus Dana's 234.
And Dana will strike out a lot because you'd like to miss contact here if you were Fair.
So now Fair misses for ball 1. Now on the flip side of that, though, Dana has worked 2 walks today and does have a 2 RBI single coming in the 5th. So he has had more success at the plate today with the single, and he did have success last time against Newport. Now this 1-0 is going to be fouled back into the screen. 1-1.
Well, I'd say it's definitely a gamble.
I don't mind it too much from Winterode, though. At least.
No, me neither.
But you're right. I mean, either way, an intentional walk, putting an extra man on the base, especially working through the heart of the lineup, is a gamble. As Fair throws over to first, but sliding back in time is Dunham.
I think almost any other hitter in the lineup, I wouldn't be as opposed to it.
Right. I mean, but working with the 3 and 4 hitters, that's where you might be scratching your head a little bit more. Runner goes for second. Ceruto fakes a throw down, but looks to third and elects to hold on to it. So now Winterode's strategy doesn't pay off, and there's runners in scoring position on second and third.
I don't think he wanted to take the chance there and throw it over Gustin again.
Yeah.
Because that is a tying run there at third base.
And he's already made that mistake, like you alluded to earlier in the game. Now this next pitch to Dana is going to be popped over towards Tours, going into foul territory, settling underneath it for out number 3. So no run score for the Waves in the top of the 8th. Off of no hits as they strand 2, heading into the bottom of the 8th. The Gulls lead 6-5.
Is proud to be the